Atlanta, Georgia is the site for this NFL telecast. Thanks for joining us again today. This is a most interesting matchup as the Raiders square off against the Falcons.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Bozon, and I'm here to give you guys the video review for Madden NFL 2008 for Nintendo Wii. Just like with last year's 2007 effort, EA has basically taken a last generation engine, adopted motion control on top of it, and has kind of worked from there to really deliver something that's kind of different on Wii, but also kind of resembles the overall Madden experience that everybody's used to. This year's Madden is still just as fast, just as brutal as it was before, and they actually made some changes. You've got Big Hit 2.0, you've got the revamped Superstar mode, you've got more motion overall, including defense, and as far as adding controls goes, it's a better version overall, and it's still more fun to play than it was last year. On the flip side, though, there's also a ton of last-generation issues that are showing up when you play. Defenders will cut off receivers that are trying to run routes, and they won't call any pass interference. You've also got camera glitches that kind of show motion blur or depth of field blur when you switch too quick from camera to camera. And icons that have been made bigger this year actually cover up running lanes at times. So that makes things a little bit more difficult, and it gives it kind of like this last-generation feel that really wasn't there last year, or is more apparent this year, I should say. Even despite all that, we're not really telling you not to get Madden 08. It's still a great game of football. It just has some issues, and some people are going to have to decide whether or not they want to deal with it or just stick with Madden 07. In fact, one of the areas that was actually supposed to make 08 so much better was the online play, and as it stands right now, that's not really the case. You use EA Nation, and you don't have to do friend code, so that's cool. You can actually go in, you've got a whole friend roster, you can send messages, although they're presets, they're not written by you on the fly. Where the issue really comes in, though, is in gameplay. You actually go in, and there's about a quarter of a second to a half-second lag most of the time, even with really good connections between what you're doing and what you're seeing on the screen. So if you're watching right now in the video, basically, anytime I make a cut, anytime I run into a guy, anytime I pass, anytime I pick a play call, that's all happening about a quarter of a second to a half-second after it's actually happening with my controllers. So you don't necessarily have lag or like dropped frames, but you have controls that take a long time to actually transfer and go online, which can cause a huge problem. Obviously, on the other side of the fence, though, you've got the local multiplayer, which you can do play now, you can do party mode, you can do family play, where you use just one controller to do all the key actions in the game. And that stuff all works great, but those same bugs are still throughout. So it's like the core game just suffers while everything else has gotten better. So things like that kind of get in the way of playing local multiplayer, too, even though there are all these mini games. There's all these different drills, there's trivia, there's all that party mode. It's all good. The core gameplay, though, is still kind of hurt. Basically, what it comes down to is this. Madden 08 is a better game than it was in 2007. It's a packed game. There's really a ton of stuff there. The problem is it's got all these last-generation issues that you're going to have to overlook if you're really going to enjoy this game. So, obviously, we love the game. We gave it an 8.5. I gave it an Editor's Choice Award. It still has a ton going for it. So, if you're a huge football fan, you're looking for a great game of football, pick up Madden 08. Just know that it still has some last-generation issues, and it's not quite as good as it could be on Wii. To go more in depth with our full written review, check out IGN.com.